Of course, as per usual. Have we started recording yet, Casey?
It's appropriate that I turned off the fan so that we could record because you just took the wind right out of my sails. Okay, so we're recording, yep. Yeah.
Oh boy, right into it.
Yes, and let's jump right into discussing the Nintendo Direct.
Of course we do. If he didn't say it, I was gonna. Zero. Tell us about fucking Tis the Kingdom. That was a big update in the Nintendo
Direct. Okay, to be real, I actually do want those amiibo, because they look pretty cool. But it's just amiibo.
It was really funny though because it was just like, hey, you know that big game that released? It released.
Yeah,
you bought it. Thanks.
Man, yeah, no, like I was not expecting them to be like right out the gate. Oh, here's our DLC plan, because the last time they talked about DLC was like right before Breath of the Wild came out, and I mean, everybody got super mad about it. So I would imagine they're probably trying to hold off on that.
Yeah, I don't think they really gained all that much by even bringing it up in this thing. Like, it was a thing like, oh, cool, like, okay, you're going to talk about Zelda. All right, this is really fast, but it's cool. Oh, you don't actually have anything to say, and you're just selling plastic tat. Okay, cool. Like, I'm not even sure most people even care about amiibos anymore, even the mega fans.
No, I like the statues.
I didn't say none. I said most.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
They made it so all of the exclusive outfits are findable in world. So
yeah, the only thing that's like exclusive to amiibo are like paraglider skins, which that's fine.
That's the way it should be. Make any changes locked behind additional purchases purely aesthetic.
Which, because of that, the amount of costumes that you have in Tears of the Kingdom, like outfits and armor sets, versus Breath of the Wild, is much higher because you don't have to own all of the amiibo to get all these outfits, which is super cool. Yeah, no, they started with DLC announcement though of the direct with like Scarlet and Violet showing off their Area Zero DLC stuff, Hidden Treasures, the Festival 1 with some Johto Mons, and then the Blueberry Academy out on the sea. And the frame rate is still chugging, and I'm just reminded of how poorly that game plays. So I didn't really care much about that. I did care though that they have a remake of Super Mario RPG coming out.
Oh yes, that's the biggest news of the whole thing, I think.
Really?
Well, it's what I've seen the most hype about.
A lot of people are really big fans of Super Mario RPG. It's an SNES game, the first RPG, like Mario RPG thing that eventually you get like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Paper Mario and like the different RPG series that stem off of that. But I mean, it's the original Mario RPG.
But from my understanding, Paper Mario and to a lesser extent, but still significant, Mario and Luigi, they're actually good.
Yeah. Paper Mario was much better, and Super Mario and Mario and Luigi series, those they don't make those games anymore because that company died.
Yeah, those were good games, though. I will say, I played those. I enjoyed those.
Yeah, they were good games, but a lot of people are just really excited because it means they get a new Mario RPG thing. Because Paper Mario is no longer really an RPG, and then Mario and Luigi has died. So.
Well,
yeah,
not really getting a new Mario RPG, getting an old Mario RPG.
Yeah, but all squeaky clean now, and with quality of life updates.
I guess.
I mean, quite frankly, I would take I'd take a basket full of old favorites that have been brought up to modern standards, something that we know will be good.
There's a lot of people begging for like the old Paper Mario games to like a Paper Mario Thousand Year Door HD version or
Yes,
stuff
yes,
like that.
yes. Like
That would
that's
be
right
the ideal.
there.
But you know, I really liked Super Mario RPG when I played it, and I think it's really cool that that gets to be brought forward for a lot of people who didn't get to play it.
Okay.
Looks good.
Apologies for trying to rain on the parade, but I just don't get it.
Nah, that's okay. And then there was another Detective Pikachu because everybody, yeah, movie did great
The movie did do
years
great.
ago.
Yeah.
I liked the movie a lot. I never played the original Detective Pikachu because it had like the
Oh, right, it was a game first.
yeah, it was a 3DS game that nobody played.
Yeah.
So I'll play the sequel and pretend like I played the prequel. That's my strategy.
I feel like they're going to accommodate you a great deal.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Sonic Mania developers were making Penny's Big Breakaway.
Yeah, that looked nice. I will say I was not into it until the words Sonic Mania were spoken.
It looks like you can just yo-yo like swing in midair wherever you want, and that seems really fun for platforming.
Yeah, that did look really cool.
The
Like,
vibe of it
sort
reminded me of a
momentum
Hat in
platformer
Time.
kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit of a Hat in Time flavor to it. Like genuinely there's some really good, like Vampire Survivors is coming and
Fuck it. I still hate that game, and I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Tell me more. This is the first I've heard of that game.
Vampire Survivor is a
Hmm.
bullet hell where you don't get to aim.
Yeah, the game just shoots things for you.
What?
It's a top-down
Yes.
bullet hell where all the enemies just sort of swarm towards you, and you move in a circle, and occasionally pick up grades that make it shoot better for you.
You get upgrades into various types of attacks and just destroy mass amounts of enemies. I didn't play the original Vampire Survivors. I only played the Hololive fan version.
Yeah, that's a good game
Which is
because it
a
lets you
good
aim.
game.
It lets you do the one thing that is actual gameplay. It lets you aim.
Yeah, I didn't know that you couldn't aim at all in Vampire Survivors. Actually,
The nuance in Vampire Survivor is getting you can only hold 8 weapons by default. So you pick ones that combine well together. Like not a skill game, it's a thinking game.
It's not a thinking game, though, because once you know that, then you just pick the right weapons and the game plays itself.
the thing I did see that was new is that apparently the Switch version will have local co-op. So, might be fun for some people.
I think the Switch would explode if it tried to do that. That's a lot.
That's very insulting to the Switch. Vampire Survivors is basically a 16-bit game at best.
Yeah. No, I don't. I think the Switch can handle it easily.
Look, when you get to the half-hour mark, there's like hundreds of enemies on the screen. Like,
Yeah, I guess.
now double that. Factor in all the particle effects of 2 characters.
I think that it was. I think it was up to 4 players.
Yeah.
That's
I don't care.
Yeah.
It feels like the fun of that is like, multiplayer games, it can be multiplicative, right? If you're having a lot of fun on your own, then multiply that by 2 people and you get 2 times the fun. If you multiply 0 fun by 2, you still get 0. So who gives a fuck? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, if you're unable to aim, but you have multiple people that are supposedly covering different angles at the same time, then
I mean, you don't usually need to aim. All of your items are AoEs, like, or it shoots at whatever the closest enemy is.
Yeah. Sorry, just trying to rationalize some way that that there might be some redeeming features about this, but
if you figure something out, please tell me. But, yeah, I feel like the entire video game community just sort of went on crazy pills in 2022. I don't understand. Everyone raved about this game, and I played it, and it's just so much nothing. Anyway.
I admit, pretty interested in that the very first farming game they introduced, Palia.
Oh god, they did so many farming games. Yeah, sorry.
The fact that you have, on one side, you can explore this region and uncover interesting stuff, and on the other side, you can just build up whatever kind of little haven you like. And the fact that the whole thing is free. I mean, I can't really think of a bad thing to say about this premise. It's something that I might give a look. If it's free, why not?
Whenever you hear free, you have to wonder about what the monetization is, because there's always it has to have something. So,
well,
pay to make crops go faster, maybe.
I mean, it's already on NSO, so if it's a digital game, then you just have to have the online membership.
It is coming to PC as well, by the way.
Okay.
Did they just reinvent Farmville? Is that where we are? Stardew Valley got popular and they realized, oh, hey, farming games, that's a thing we can do. And then everyone develops their own farming game, and the audience is like, cool. So I'm going to go back to playing Stardew Valley. You guys have fun with making that game.
There is such a freaking farming game. Every single time there's a Nintendo Direct, it's like, here's 3 more farming games.
It's a gold rush. I mean, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, there you go. Gigantic mega smash hits. Everyone wants in on it. That's how it goes.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a nice, charming game where you get to build things up and make things grow. I would always enjoy a game like that.
The only problem is USP. What's the pull? What makes it something I should play alongside Stardew Valley that is already proven to be a great game, or Animal Crossing, because that is also supposedly a great game. I never got into it. And to be perfectly honest, the one that still really sticks in my mind is that super stupid one that is just like a fucking Squeenix JRPG on the other side of it. Like, I don't know if anyone remembers the trailer for it. It was in a previous Direct, I think, where it was just sort of like, one side of it is just this super chill farming game, and it's really difficult to grow crops because the evil overlords of some fucking fantasy bullshit are over here, and they've poisoned the land. Gather your party and go on great adventures, and then come back and farm potatoes. That's super chill. Relax.
Listen, if the evil overlords came between me and my potatoes, they have to go.
It looked fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. It looked stupid, kind of cool. I want to phrase it that way. It didn't look actually cool. It looked really fucking goofy, and that's why it's interesting.
In a way, what you said reminded me of the trailer that came a bit later in the Direct for Silent Hope.
I do not recall.
Not familiar.
All of it. One day in a peaceful kingdom, the reclusive king stole the kingdom's words and disappeared underground. So, pretty much invoking the silent protagonist trope, you have 7 heroes bound by fate who are trying to go through the abyss to find the king and find out what he's been up to. Try to get the words back, I suppose. They didn't clarify exactly what he had done. Just by and large, it looks like a really interesting game that's had a lot of love put into it. It's...
I mean, I appreciate taking that trope to the absolute extreme of nobody in this nation can talk.
Yes, your protagonists are silent because words got stolen.
I watched several YouTubers react to the Direct, and all of them seemed to be, at the very least, intrigued by the game's premise and presentation. It might be worth a look.
Yeah.
Of course, you know me. My biggest, what I enjoyed the most seeing was Pikmin.
Yeah.
I
Pikmin
am going
1
to
and
be
2
perfectly
coming
honest
to-
with you. I just buttoned through that one, so take it away. Yeah,
Well,
I have nothing to say.
Well, the most interesting things that they introduced were Glow Pikmin, a new variant that only comes out at night, and flutter like ghosts. They can also combine into a big energy sphere and attack enemies that way.
There's also
What?
like an evil Olimar that's like challenging you to duels.
Yeah. With his own version of Ochi, the dog thing beside him.
Evil dog.
Was
Looks more
There's
gloomy
no
than anything.
There's no such thing as an evil dog. Don't.
True.
True.
was there a dog in Pikmin?
There is in Pikmin 4.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I never played that one. So
Yeah, it's not come out yet.
Obviously,
I thought I missed one, and I was so confused for a second.
although the demo does come out in 3 days if you want to give it a shot.
Might
And the
be
full
worth
game
it.
comes out next month, so I'll be giving it a look then.
You can make your customizable character in Pikmin 4. You create your own dude or dudette.
Yep.
Okay.
So, interestingly, they show because it's kind of like obvious for anybody who's played Pikmin that the alien world that they are exploring is our world, but they are just really tiny. So it shows them actually going inside like interiors and like on a kitchen sink in like an abandoned house.
Yeah, they never really gave pulled the trigger on deciding whether it was the apocalypse or not. Where
yeah.
are the humans? Who knows? They never say.
I'm still unsure if that will be answered, but like they go into a house. So I mean Pikmin 4 looks really good. Like Patient was saying, Pikmin 1 and 2 are already out on Switch. They were announced with the directive like, oh, it's coming later today.
Damn.
If I weren't broke, I'd have bought both of them already.
So
That's
you can
good.
now play Pikmin 1, 2, 3, and 4 or when it comes out, all on Switch. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Complete the franchise. That'll get a lot more fans on it, I think. Well, maybe not a lot, but at least some.
Yeah.
I'm also really excited. Rewatching the footage that they showed a few times, I did confirm all of the previous types of Pikmin are returning at some point in this game, so you can control all 9 at some point.
Jesus. Do you still have 100 Pikmin limit? Do you know?
That much we don't know. I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Because I wasn't sure if that was a gameplay limitation or a system limitation.
I wanna say
column A and column B.
Yeah, probably both. I mean, it was probably a system limitation to some extent, and they just thought that 100 was a nice round number, which it is.
Yeah.
And so they just stopped there instead of going to the absolute limit.
Yeah, and then they added in multiple protagonists that you can switch between that each have their own army of Pikmin in 3, I believe.
No, they.
No.
Well, yes, but they introduced the premise of playing as more than one person in Pikmin 2
Yeah.
with Louis and
Mm-hmm.
later the President.
But they did like 2, and then they did like 3 in Pikmin 3. So
You play as one in. Sorry.
I would not be surprised if, because you're not playing as multiple protagonists in this game, that you would just have a much higher Pikmin limit.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with the same thing that they've had since game 1. So we'll see how it goes.
They also, to nobody's surprise, Sonic Superstars is coming over to the Switch. I just want to bring it up because Sonic Superstars looks super good.
Yeah, that was. I watched Pat watch this direct, which is to say, I buttoned through most of it because most of it was stuff I didn't care about. Yeah, that one I was right alongside him, waiting for. Is Christian Whitehead on this? Is Christian Whitehead on this? Are they doing this one? Is this them? Is this them? Who's making it? Who's making it? Tell me who's Yeah, this is Sonic Team, I think. They haven't really confirmed the devs for this one. I think this is just Sonic Team. Which... not exactly a seal of quality, but we will see, I guess. Because, Christian Whitehead is doing the other thing. The Fox Yo-Yo, whatever the crap it was.
I mean, so far, everything I've seen of Superstars looks very good.
It looked alright. Forces looked alright too.
Yeah, but I mean, they have the physics right in this game, from what I've seen.
4 looked decent as well.
Oh,
that's kind of the thing about the Sonic cycle is the game, generally speaking, looks alright.
There are people who have gotten hands on it, and everybody's been saying that it's actually just really good. So,
alright.
It
looked kind of visually busy, but that's just me.
We will have to see. I'm hoping it is actually just really good, and we're back. But
one can hope.
Do? They got playable Amy in it.
That's not. I don't know why it's being treated as like this is a cool thing. That's never been cool.
Because she has a hammer.
Yes, I like hammers.
Yeah, I'm kidding mainly, but that would be the appeal for me.
Yeah, so...
Also, she has the costume from Sonic CD, which is odd. But alright.
Well, this is, they're doing with the classic designs, right? Because this is the classic Sonic. But if you subscribe to their newsletter, you get a modern costume for her.
Or I could not do that.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah. I'm not looking for more companies to have my email for me to get emails I don't care about and will forget to delete. I'm cool. I don't need that shit.
The spam. Yeah.
But not as tasty.
So, aside from all of that, there were a lot of announcements. Like I know I'm not a big fan of like I'm not super into Dragon Quest, but they announced a new Dragon Quest Monsters game, which is kind of like or like a Pokemon sort of situation in which you can recruit monsters instead of fighting it in like the Dragon Quest world, and then you can fuse them together.
And unlike Pokemon, the monsters are way less appealing to look at.
Yeah,
every way.
they goofy.
Slimes are iconic, but aside from that, Yeah, okay.
They also have a new WarioWare game that seems to be a sequel to Smooth Moves, which was on the Wii, in which like you have the different movements that you'd make. And for anybody who didn't play it, which is probably a lot of people, Smooth Moves was a fantastic game, super
I
fun.
mean,
Mhm.
I mean, most. I haven't played a bad WarioWare game yet. They're not. They're never going to be as big as the Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon titles, but they are consistently good.
Yeah, I'm excited because Smooth Moves is I think the most fun I've ever had with a WarioWare game, and so to have something that is using a lot of the stuff that I liked in that's really makes me happy. And
Nintendo
also,
will never give up on motion controls.
they can be very fun when WarioWare does them.
Uh-huh.
Remember when we made $11 billion on motion controls and the rest of the industry just sort of stared at us hatefully in our giant Scrooge McDuck money vault? Yeah,
Which
those were good
reminds me, I still
times.
need to play DuckTales.
Woohoo! uh, a Star Ocean 2 is getting a remake, just in a similar style that Star Ocean 1 did, where it's the 2.5 HD 2D 3D thing. It looks super good. Star Ocean 2, from everything I've heard, is the best game in that series. So I'm excited to actually get a chance to play it.
I haven't played any games in the Star Ocean franchise. Sorry, Casey. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say that is a franchise that I continually forget exists at all.
Oh yeah, no, they have they released like Star Ocean 5 and Star Ocean 6 and nobody noticed.
Yeah,
What's
I'd
the
never
general?
heard of those. I legit thought there were only four. Like I was thinking that when I was saying the thing that I just said. I was thinking, yeah, there was four. I remember there was the third one that everyone thought was kind of shit, and that was the fourth. I can't really remember whether people like that. I think that's all of them. Nope, apparently not. There were more. Okay.
Yeah, they made two more. They were relatively middling, from what I understand. Though I heard the most recent one was actually pretty good. Though of course it didn't catch on. Um, hmm. But two's good.
Hmm. I might give 1 and 2 a shot. I mean, what's the general premise?
Space exploration. Go find new worlds. You know.
That sort of
Um,
thing.
yeah, going to various different planets, and I know in 4 it was trying to find a new world for like humanity to settle on. But
I'm gonna
there's
make a
like
weird pull right now. You know what game I
mhm.
kind of miss?
What?
I I might be getting the name wrong, but I think it was called Infinite Space. It was a
Mm.
game where you sort of. It was a DS game, I think, where you were sort of a kind of mercenary captain kind of thing, and you built your own. You got your own ship, and then you could trade ships and like refit them and stuff. And the combat of the game was basically just sort of fighting game footsies, trying to get the right range so you had the advantage and the enemy didn't. So I thought that was
Fun.
really cool. I missed that game.
That was developed by Platinum Games.
Yeah,
Co-developed.
that was a really good game and had a pretty neat story. Some branching paths and stuff too. It's cool.
Awesome. Yeah,
Recommend
it's part
playing
of
it
the.
through any means that you can find to play that game. Just,
It was part of Platinum's 4-game publishing partnership with Sega. The other 3 games being Mad World, Bayonetta, and Vanquish. So, yeah, that's interesting. Other games that they also showed that I had interest in. There's only really like two worth I think talking about here because there's some other just DLC or other things that are just being ported over, which was one of them being, "Hey guys, you guys like Persona 5?
I love it. And
We
yeah,
got Persona 5 Tactica."
I'm honestly relieved to hear that that's coming to the Switch because the first I heard of it, they were only announcing it for Xbox. So
I loved Persona 5. That is no secret to anyone. I enjoyed Strikers. I haven't finished it yet. Should really get on that. But I enjoyed Strikers of what I played of it. I could not give less of a shit about this game. And
Really?
90% of that is because of the aesthetic.
fair.
It's the chibi Persona Q aesthetic. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. All those cool designs from like regular Persona and all that stuff, and no, chibi. It's like, hey, let's get rid of one of the core facets of what makes Persona 5 great, and let's just throw it out because it's cheaper.
I'm gonna be real as well. Like, if the premises they go to, like they basically get isekai'd in a sense in this other world and involved in a conflict. And I don't know. There's nothing that I've seen that has really appealed to me here, right? Because it's not. It's definitely very much a spin-off, like side game. It's not progressing anything. And part of the reason why I liked, Strikers or Scramble or what have you, was that it was
a follow-up.
trying to is a follow-up. It was trying to build off of what was already there.
Like, one of the big takeaways I saw on, I think it was like on Twitter or something, it was like someone showing a screenshot of Erina with the flag and being like, look at this character. Doesn't she look neat? Wouldn't she look so cool if she had an actual character design instead of this chibi shit?
Yeah.
It hurts because it's true.
Just to get the visual out, I'll post the image and recording chat of the character design. I'd like to see it non-cheapified.
I admit that's a fair thing. At the same time, I have very, very little experience with tactical games, but the few times that I have played them, I've enjoyed them a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, art style aside, I'm probably going to be getting this in hopes that... I mean, quite frankly, if we have any good amount of humor between the thieves, any more interactions like that, I'm open for that. I'm open for seeing more of what's going on with this band of characters.
For as much of a curmudgeon as I've been, I will say for every single spin-off game that I can think of for the Persona series, they have done a damn good job adjusting to the new genre that they are adapting and integrating Persona mechanics into them well. Like, the fighting game is still a standout. The Dynasty Warriors clone, fantastic. Barely plays like a Dynasty Warriors clone because they actually bothered to get the gameplay of Persona in there. The fucking music games are kind of their own shit. But, for people that are very au fait with the music games, they're apparently okay. What other ones were there?
There was Q, which was the Etrian Odyssey style.
Yeah, that one. I mean, they did one of those. That's fine.
They did two of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did do two of those. Yes, but yeah, that's about as complimentary as I can get with those, admittedly. But they did those and they did them okay.
Yeah,
So
I
they
would
do
not
put
be,
in the effort.
I will also say I just found out that apparently there's going to be DLC that features Kasumi and Goro Akechi. Story DLC specifically.
Oh, Okay.
to Tactica,
Mm-hmm.
the game that they just announced.
Yeah, I think it might have been leaked.
I mean, it'll depend on whether there's a price for the DLC. That's not a guarantee necessarily. Although, I am. If they're going to add in those two, I hope they also add in the other two. Heck, maybe
The
even add in
Sophia and
Zucchini.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Zucchini.
Zenkichi. Yeah, Zenkichi was cool. I like Zenkichi.
Yeah, I like Zenkichi.
He caters to the fact that I am fucking in my 30s and every character in this game is like 16. So like I get someone I can relate to.
The last thing I want to kind of talk about from the Nintendo Direct was the Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which for anybody who doesn't know, the fans of 2D Mario have been playing Mario Maker because the new Super Mario Bros. Stuff is so boring. They did new Super Mario Bros. Like 3 or 4 times with that same just 3D models without much of a. It was just 3D models on a 2D plane, and here it is very much. They went with the art. It's 2D art. It looks really, really good, and they also have playable Daisy in a mainline Mario game for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 players. You can play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and Daisy as the 5 options that we've seen so far.
What stands out to me most? Well, first, it's the whole namesake of it, the wonder mechanic, where you. Well, this was long overdue. Mario touches a strange object and he starts hallucinating.
He starts to trip out. The entire world starts to go nuts.
Remember the jokes in webcomics from mid-2000s about how Mario is constantly on mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, we caught up with those. We're making a game about it.
He touches a wonder flower and everything becomes wonderful and trippy.
Yep.
Where pipes become worms and start crawling around. And where Mario can jump, where Mario can suddenly stretch out until he's 10 feet tall, but no wider for it, just a beanpole. And he can also turn into an elephant. Oh wait, that's in the normal overworld.
Yes, there's now an elephant power-up.
That was weirdly demonstrated. It was just like, look at all this cool shit. Oh, by the way, elephant.
Wowie
For
zowie!
no reason. Just didn't do anything with it, just he's an elephant now.
Yeah,
He
trust
runs
me.
up to a Goomba, it dies because he's an elephant.
The
Doesn't
internet
that
is
Goomba
very
look
aware
serene?
of there's elephant
Well
power-ups.
What was that, Slicer?
The internet is very aware there's elephant power-ups.
Yes, and they're very afraid or excited, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Well, here's my apprehension with it, and this is a legitimate mechanical thing. Because I heard relatively recently a fun fact about elephants. They're the only mammals that cannot hop. So what does that mean for Mr. Jumpman himself?
It means you have a bunch of forward momentum as a heavy object.
Or you have
and break
destroyed
through
knees. You try and just lose a life.
No, I think it's
That
going to
would be
be
pretty
rather than jumping, elephants can just break through things or
Probably.
something.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
I mean, come to think of it, in the 2D Mario games, Mario usually takes damage just by touching an enemy, as opposed to automatically killing them. That usually takes a superstar.
But in this one, he's a big boy. He just runs right over them. So he doesn't need to jump because he can just run through enemies.
That actually sounds kind of boring.
I'm curious though, like how it works. He can run through Goombas. I'm not sure like what the limitations are on it.
What I'm curious about is if they're going to do the same thing that they did in Super Mario 3D World. You know that the biggest power-up there was the cat bell. And what happened at the end of the game? Bowser put on the cat bell.
Oh, we're gonna get Bowser Elephant. Let's go. Bowser Elephant.
Actually, didn't know that happened.
Yeah, he becomes like a
Meowser.
Meowser. And
I hate it, but love it.
and the game has you like running up a skyscraper while a giant kaiju-sized Meowser is trying to swipe at you.
And then he eats the double cherry, and suddenly there are several gigantic Meowsers trying to swipe at you.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm just excited to have a new 2D Mario. It's not Mario Maker, which means it will be well-designed levels, I think.
Mm.
Because Mario Maker is a crapshoot at best.
Mm.
You get geniuses and you get fools. What can you do?
This level, all you have to do is hold right.
Yeah, that. To be perfectly fair, like, people will make what they want to make, and some people want to make a thing that looks cool when you run through it, and that's fine. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you label it that way, that's fine, and that's very enjoyable. Some people actually just want to play a Mario level, though.
Yeah. And there was at least, I don't know about Mario Maker 2, but when I was playing Mario Maker 1, there was a big problem where the majority of levels ended up just turning into hold right.
Yeah. That happens for every friggin' creator level thing. Like, Trackmania had that problem a lot as well, where it's just hold the accelerator and it'll just run through the track for you. But it'll do a bunch of cool shit while it's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, being perfectly fair, that sort of stuff does actually take some really good understanding of the mechanics of how the game works, so you can get the physics just right so it will work exactly as intended. So that's, you know, it's impressive in its own right, but it's not a game.
Yeah. So excited for all of that. That's Nintendo Direct, I think, basically handled.
Mm.
Yeah. The only other thing that I was going to bring up, it's a port, and I was kind of interested about the Arkham trilogy coming to Switch. I haven't played that yet.
Yeah, that's probably the worst possible way you could play those games.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that. I'm more interested in the PlayStation version for the trophies anyway.
I would definitely say don't play it on Switch.
Like,
The only thing that's making me reconsider that advice is just the fact that all the DLC is already included.
let me put it this way. From my understanding of the Switch's hardware and its capabilities, it would really struggle with the first game.
And the second and third are just more complex from there.
Yeah, the first game was on PS3.
I think it could handle the first game, but I'm not sure about the other two.
Yeah, that first game was like 2008, 2009. The Switch could maybe handle that one.
Yeah.
The second one, less so. Arkham Knight, absolutely fucking not. Not a chance in hell. I don't even know why they're trying.
Like I said, I'm more inclined to go for a PlayStation version anyway, just so that I can collect the trophies.
I will also say I just found something out about the Arkham because I just googled it. So, well, the first game is on the cartridge. The other two need to be downloaded.
Okay.
So if you get the cartridge, and it's with all the DLC, it needs to be downloaded, and the Switch does have limited storage. Unless you have invested in upgrading.
You know what? I think Casey might be right. Why are they even trying?
Honestly, seeing it, I thought it was going to be like Kingdom Hearts. It was going to be the cloud play thing that they did with that.
It is not.
Yeah. I
All right, to heck with that then.
yeah, like it just seems like a bad business decision for everyone involved. Like the one big anvil around Nintendo's neck right now is how badly the Switch performs when it's trying to do anything even mildly graphically intensive. And then it puts on Arkham Knight, where even the fucking PC port was a shit show because it was so weirdly overdeveloped in certain areas. Like, it boggles the mind. I don't understand why they would even try to do this. It's baffling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say just get the PlayStation versions for that.
Yes, I will. At some point.
Yeah,
Um,
they're very good games, very enjoyable.
yeah.
Yes, I'm well aware. They're just not my usual fare of games. I'm only really getting into the big, really well developed open world games now. I think Breath of the Wild is the most complex one that I've played to this point. And speaking of which, I've been driving Zomniac mad. He got it for me for my birthday, and yeah, it took me a month to get to the first area after the tutorial because I was just focusing on exploring everywhere.
Yeah, you play how you want to. That's how that game works.
Yes.
I think that like that's totally a game where if you want to take your time and just slow down, you're gonna have a lot more fun. You're gonna get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, and I did. I milked going everywhere I could for as long as I could, but after a few weeks it started to be boring, so I just decided to go for the plot.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Nintendo stuff, I went to Super Mario Land at Universal Studios.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I went to Super Mario Land in Universal Studios.
Oh.
The
Let us know how that goes.
I went to it
Oh.
this last week.
I also made that mistake. I thought he said he was going to when he originally said it in the general chat.
Huh.
No. I went there.
This is unnecessarily complicated. He did say he was going to this place, and then he went and he showed pictures of it. Like these are the things that happened. I don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that now.
So
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know either. Yeah, so I went on a vacation down to SoCal, Southern California, and went to Universal Studios. And so we got in there very early to get into Super Mario Land, which is pretty much necessary because if you try to get in later in the day, you have to join a virtual line through like the app or something, because they limit the number of people that can be in that space. So we got in there before the cutoff, basically. But you can re-queue to get back in there later on in the day.
Let me tell you, Zero,
And
the line discussion is the most fascinating part of this story. I'm super enthralled.
So we go down there, and there's this gigantic pipe, horizontal pipe that we go through, and it's decorated in rainbow lights and stuff as we go through it. And we come out into Peach's castle. And there's paintings on the wall that are like screens that are switching, and I saw one switch to Bob on Battlefield from Mario 64, and I was happy. We exit the castle, and it is like the set design, I guess for lack of a better term, the area design is fantastic. It feels like you've stepped into another world. There's the Toadstool Cafe. There's like the only eatery there in terms of like actual meals that was booked for the entire day before we even got there.
Wow.
It's okay. I heard the food sucks.
Very, very mushroom heavy, you know.
Yeah, there's a mushroom. They have like a mushroom burger.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's a burger with mushrooms on it.
You don't say.
Okay, I mean, now that you've clarified that,
I wanted to clarify.
it doesn't sound completely awful, but it doesn't sound great. Like,
They have one ride basically in Mario Land. It's the Mario Kart, where you go through Bowser's Castle, and then you get to the part where you actually get in your cart, and it is an augmented reality ride. So, 4 people to a cart, you each have your own steering wheel with buttons on it to fire shells, and you put on this sort of like almost like a helmet thing, and then attach augmented reality goggles to them. So when you look around, you can see the various Mario characters and Bowser and the Koopalings in their carts, as if like they were actually there. And you go through a course on this ride, and you're hitting. You have to steer to like drift around corners, and you get shells that you then fire at the various monsters that attack you, as well as Bowser and the Koopalings. And you get coins, and there's a leaderboard. And I got first place in my cart both times. Woo!
Nice.
Well done.
So it's a ton of fun. It's like it's just a big game, more so than like intense ride with ups and downs. And that's a lot of the design of the area is like games. There's 4 mini games scattered throughout the park, and if you complete any mini game or any combination of 3 times, you get access to a special final game.
Ooh.
But in order to do that, you need to buy their $40 power band so that you can interact with things in the park.
Of course.
It functions as an amiibo too.
Of course it does.
So like if you have that power band though, you can go up to like the question blocks and actually hit them, and they will make the coin sound effect and add coins to like your app thing that you have, which also has leaderboards for who gets the most coins based off various achievements that you get throughout the park, like finding all the hidden blocks on the Mario Kart ride, or finding the hidden pixel characters that are you need to go up and push your like wristband thing up against to make appear. They're like hidden in several areas. It's very game-like.
Appropriate. Yeah.
You can lose those mini games, by the way, so you can wait in line for like 30 minutes in the hot sun and then lose, which sucks.
Great.
Because me and my brother, we did it, and he lost 2 of the games. So I fortunately I won 3 of them. So as long as one person in your group wins 3 and they have the key, they can open up the door to Bowser Jr.'s Shadow Showdown, where you go through a bunch of Bowser Jr. like portraits and stuff. There's a Bowser Jr. block you can hit that changes the color of the area and has the Bowser Jr. laugh, and then you go up into this room and they project your shadow onto the wall, and there's like a screen there, and you move, and your shadow is basically what you are controlling to smack away bombs that are falling down towards like Bowser Jr. and you duck under like bullet bills that are firing, and you jump up to get power-ups. Very active thing. It's like playing a Connect game almost. Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun. I don't like waiting in line for those mini games, so I think that was the worst part.
Yeah, I mean it usually is.
Because only like 1 or 2 people can partake in a mini game at a time, usually, or like groups in some cases. and it just takes forever. And yeah, no, they have Mario and Luigi going around in costume and a Princess Peach in costume. Super cool area. I'm happy that it exists. I think I'm good to not go back there for a while. It is a relatively small space compared to the rest of the park.
Did you kind of do everything basically?
I did everything. I'm good. I don't want to go to that cafe because I've only heard bad things about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I assume it's also really expensive too. Like it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
even
no.
worth giving it a try, even if it's probably going to be bad. Not if you're going to pay so much money for it.
You know, it's obviously going to be super expensive, and so we went around the rest of Universal Studios and saw like Fast and the Furious cars they had on display, and um, went into the Po Kung Fu Panda movie show ride thing, which was boring. Did the studio tour, which was interesting because you get to see all the production stuff behind various movies and everything. And they have little ride sections where you go into a tunnel, and then like they have like King Kong jumping around on this like screen that wraps around the entire tunnel. And then they also had a Fast and the Furious one, which I was kind of laughing at because just Vin Diesel there talking about family is always funny to me. But it felt like we were in a car chase for once, and that was really interesting. Yeah, and so so I kind of went off on a tangent about my Universal Studios trip. I hope that's okay, because I did end up going. So I did make a big mistake during this trip, which was so the lower lot is where Mario Land is, and to go up to the upper lot, you have to go up 4 escalators or 4 very steep sets of stairs.
Okay.
No, don't tell me you went. Don't tell me you took the stairs.
So I tried to take the stairs.
Uh,
And it is a hot day, by the way. And I went up about 270 steps at a speed I should not have started at. And, well, I got to see what the medical room looks like at Universal Studios.
Oh wow.
no.
They can only keep me there for 15 minutes, though, because, COVID restrictions. But
Will?
I'm okay. I was heart rate got way too high. Needed to have some electrolytes and rest because I just was dying.
Did you
Not
bring
literally.
a canteen or something?
Oh no.
Do that next time.
And then I went to the ER later that night because my heart rate was still very high, and
Great.
I'm good though. I'm good. I don't have anything seriously wrong with me, so that's a relief.
Are you sure you don't have anything seriously wrong with you?
I just slept through the entire next day. Don't worry about it. And it like felt better.
Whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, don't and like when we were in the medical room, the doctor lady was just like, yeah, no, this happens a lot. People try to take the stairs. Multiple times a day this happens. So that was fun. By the way, Universal City Walk, I had dinner there like the previous night, and I would highly recommend. We went to Toothsome's Chocolate Emporium for dinner,
That sounds delightful.
and it's all like steampunk. And they have a guy in a robot costume with a voice modulator and this steampunk dressed lady that go around to the tables and check on you, and like they're all in character and everything.
That sounds
And
incredible.
just incredibly wholesome encounter with them. And I had a milkshake, a vanilla milkshake with Nilla wafers in it. Um,
Yeah.
super good, and then like a spicy mac and cheese, pasta thing with shrimp. So good trip. I slept through one of the days though, so short trip.
Hmm.
Oh, by the way, I saw the Flash movie.
Heard nothing but bad things.
Well, I've heard some middling things.
I enjoyed it. Is it going to be a movie that I want to go back and watch over and over and over again? No. Is the CGI of dead people morally correct? No. Should they have done it?
Wish they didn't.
Is it
Yeah.
worth lining the pockets of a person who does very unpleasant things that should not be rewarded in any way, shape, or form? Probably not.
I didn't pay for my ticket. There's at least that.
Hmm.
My dad really wanted to see Michael Keaton as Batman.
Man,
He got to see.
that's just unfair. Michael Keaton is Batman again, but hey, this fucking child molester is gonna get bank. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Yep.
I still think they shouldn't have released that movie, but we are where we are, and
I think they should have done a tiny amount of research and made sure not to cast someone so problematic.
I mean,
yeah,
he was cast long before he did any of that crazy shit. In fairness, like Justice League movie.
and I mean they have a Supergirl in the movie as well, who does a really good job and is a very compelling Supergirl.
Hmm.
And it kind of feels like the movie is messy.
In fairness, it's a film about time travel, so
It is. For those who don't know, the basic premise is Barry Allen's, living a life where his mom is dead and his father's in prison for, the murder. It's a basic Flash premise.
Yeah.
And
if you watch the show, you know the premise.
One day while running, he realizes that he accidentally went back through time. And it's like, wait, then I could just run all the way back in time and stop the bad thing from happening. And Bruce Wayne, Batman, comes up to him and says, hey, I know what you're feeling. I lost my parents too. Don't do that. Seriously, don't do that. You just have to move on.
I'm sorry, this coming from Batman.
Not exactly like move on, but more just you gotta
Accept
live with it. Yeah, accept it. You can't change the past, and even if you did, that would cause horrific ramifications for everything else. So you don't know what you're messing with, basically. These events are tragic, but they make us who we are. And so, yeah, no, Flash goes back in time.
They're trying real fucking hard to do a canon event without saying the words canon events.
And ends up screwing things up. And doesn't end up coming back to his proper time, comes back when he's a bit younger. So you have Ezra Miller playing two characters, which are younger Flash in a different timeline and older Flash from the normal timeline. And it's a good performance. Like, the acting is pretty good in that regard. Like, the characters feel different. I guess my main problem with this movie is it feels, like the main thing that I didn't feel like a sense like everything was resolved by the end of it in a good way, I guess.
I mean, it wasn't. That's
Because they set it up to where he came back during the time of Man of Steel, but there's no Superman because of butterfly effect. So we gotta find a way to stop Zod and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. Are they going to prevent a horrible loss of life? And I did not get the answer I wanted out of that.
Incomplete, then, in a nutshell.
Yeah, it kind of feels incomplete. Like the personal story of Barry Allen, I feel is complete, but the rest of the story isn't. If that makes sense.
in fairness, the personal story of Barry Allen is actually fairly simple and straightforward and very, very short. And then there's just an entirely different story that happens halfway through the film, and they have to resolve that for some reason. Like,
They introduce this other story, and then they're like, okay, so now we're gonna get everybody together. We're gonna take down Zod, and then I don't know if I could talk spoilers if that's okay.
The film did just come out, but on the other hand, no one's gonna fucking see it. Box office numbers don't lie.
I'll see it eventually, but I don't care. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't care.
All right. Well, if anybody cares who's listening to this, you can skip forward. So the whole thing is they get Supergirl and free her from, like, she's like kidnapped by the Russians or something. They get Michael Keaton to put the Batman costume back on once more, and they decide to all go take down Zod, and they fail. And so basically the young Flash ends up becoming the main villain who's going back in time over and over and over again to try to prevent this tragedy, because if they fail, the world basically dies. And no matter what he does, he cannot change it until he becomes kind of the reverse Flash, if that makes sense. He becomes the villain. But
That's not the reverse Flash, but okay.
yeah, no, and so he's just like, we can fix it. We just one more time, and then Barry Allen's like, you gotta let go, and those two don't have an actual fight. He just ends up somehow acting his younger self, who also shows up there. So you have the old Flash of the new timeline, the young Flash of the new timeline, and the old Flash of the original timeline, but the other one stabs himself, but then he just disintegrates because the young Flash jumps in front of it to protect the old Flash of the original timeline, and then Flash just goes back and undoes the thing that he did that started all of this, and then everything goes back to normal, and that other timeline never happened, I guess.
You have to let go, except I don't. That's pretty much what the moral is. Aren't you glad that they decided to do Flashpoint for the film?
So, like, and then Flash comes back and he gets back to his world, and it's George Clooney as Batman now. He changed the timeline, and it's not the same. I don't know if that retcons anything, if they're going to retcon things, or if they're going to use this as an opportunity to recast the Flash. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they have to use some excuse at this point. Like,
they should. Yeah, no, it's. I enjoyed watching it because I with like my critical brain off, but when I turn my critical brain on, it is a messy movie. And yeah, no.
You know what could have been really cool if they decided to do it, but they obviously didn't have the means or time to do it.
What?
If they
Include
just
Killer Frost.
no, if they just based on how fucking the TV show handled it, no. Uh, if they just had the first thing go wrong and then Flash is just like, oh shit, this is reality now, I guess, because I fucked it up. And that's just it, and that's how they retcon the universe. But this film was made before they decided to retcon the universe, so they obviously couldn't do that.
Yeah. It's I really liked the Supergirl that they had, and then they just erased that timeline, so now she doesn't exist.
What the fuck was the plan for this? Like
Flashiness, explosives.
no,
lots of
no. DCEU. What was the plan for this? This film was made before they decided to reset the universe, but they completely fucking reset the universe. What were they gonna do with that?
That is a good question.
I don't know. I just
I believe by asking that question, you've already thought about this more than they have.
brain off. It was fun. Brain on. It is one of the messiest movies that focuses more on fan service than actual content.
They still haven't really clarified what exactly is going on with the DCU.
I don't know.
Like, it's been several months now. They should probably, like, say something for how this whole thing shakes out. Like, I guess they don't want to because they still got a movie on in the pipeline, like Aquaman 2. Is that coming out still? Or has that come out? I don't remember.
Aquaman is still coming out, I think.
Yeah, so maybe that's why they haven't said anything. They're waiting for that to come out. But the fallout of the whole universe being reset, maybe not, is kind of already being felt by Shazam 2 and this movie. So maybe
and Black Adam.
Oh yeah, Black Adam had its own fucking problems.
Yeah.
So, they kind of have to say something at this point. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Give us a bottom line so we know whether we just discard all this other crap and we can just move forward. Well, we can't move forward because of the writer's strike, but you know what I mean.
So, The Flash is the DCEU's worst box office drop ever. Performing worse than Black Adam and Shazam 2.
What was the precedent before those?
So, let me get the numbers here.
I'm just curious how long it's been since they had such a bad movie.
That's
they released
the thing. Like, the DCU, for being as shit as it is, and it is very well known to be shit, the films actually did do decently. Like, I don't think there had been any actual straight up flops until Shazam 2.
Which was then trumped twice in a row.
Yeah.
Well, Black Adam came out before Shazam 2, and that was already a horrible drop.
Yeah.
Then it was outdone by Shazam 2, and then The Flash is now doing that.
Yeah.
So it has just been pretty downward.
Audiences don't know what to do with these movies. We don't know whether they count. And I don't blame Black Adam. I don't blame that for Black Adam because, again, Black Adam's got its own fucking problems.
Yeah.
Namely Black Adam. Namely Dwayne Johnson.
I don't like the I still have so many problems with just the way that movie was done.
It could have been good.
It could have been really good, but it's really hard to have a debate of heroes don't kill versus well I do when the entirety of all the movies behind you are heroes killing people.
And also, he doesn't really kill people. Like, it's really awkward that he wanted to be Superman, effectively.
Yeah.
He wanted to be Superman with attitude.
And by
Because
attitude, we mean the one same face that he makes the entire time.
Yeah, and he's a wrestler from the Attitude Era. It's what he knows how to do. So that's just what he does. For everything. For everything.
Yeah.
Fine, but that's fucking boring and kind of lame. It's not the 90s anymore.
What I think rather than I think if you want to make a good Flash movie, you should have not touched time travel at all.
It is unfortunate how closely tied the Flash is to time travel as a concept. Like, he's supposed to be known for super speed. Most of the time, he's known for fucking time travel because that's just...
I would like to see him fight villains at high speed, not jumping across time and through the multiverse and everything. And oh look, there's all these different worlds with different Flashes, and there's hey, you know that there's that character played by that dead actor, and that one too, and that one as well. Oh, and one more too.
Yeah, here's that guy that played Superman who really, really, really didn't want to be known for playing Superman. Let's use his corpse to play Superman. Like,
That's so fucked up.
fuck.
I do wish writers eventually learn how to use speedsters. It'd be really nice if
It
you just
would.
get one thing where speedsters are used right, and people don't immediately question everything that happens.
I mean, I will say, Invincible did it right.
Yeah.
For the one episode that Red Rush was in, he was a really good example of how to do a speedster.
He was really compelling, and I it was really cool how like I cared for that character despite having only one episode. And just him talking about how you are in slow motion to me because I am constantly fast.
Yeah, like he doesn't slow down, so he is constantly in that sort of time frame of everyone else is speaking one word per minute, if that. And he's still also trying to be like, he's opening up about how fucking awful that is, but also trying to be nice about it because holy shit, that's a really bad thing to dump on someone that is already kind of not feeling it. And that scene alone made him a really compelling character, and then they also made him really cool as a speedster of what he can actually do.
Yeah.
because he was fucking MVP of that fight at the end. Holy shit.
Like, legitimately, like, it would, if that fight had gone slightly differently, you know, and they were more prepared, that would have easily been a reversal of the situation.
Yeah, like the very first thing he does, the very first thing that happens in that fight is him saving someone who absolutely would have fucking died instantly. And he does that over and over again through that fight until he gets killed. It was fucking cool.
But you don't understand, in the Flash, Superman can move just as fast and react, according to the Justice League movie, where Superman's speed is just as much, so we don't really need the Flash.
No, it's not, though. It's not. It's frustrating.
It is.
That's very much a sort of a very antiquated approach to Superman in terms of he can do everything, he can do anything he needs to at any point, and there is no limit because he is the man that everyone wishes they could be, the man who can do literally anything. And that's boring, kind of.
It is. I mean, I think it's perfectly fine to say that.
Like, Superman does get a lot of shit for being boring. Like, he is the Man of Steel. He can do anything. He's got all these powers. He's Superman. But the thing is, the limitations are important too. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes Superman not boring. The entire point of Superman, on the whole, is Clark Kent. It's the man, not the super. But it helps if the super is also not boring.
Right, because if you're going to be throwing him into a collaboration with other heroes,
you need those other heroes to matter.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was the thing with, like, the Justice League movie it was just like, we just gotta wait until Superman's back. We should just bring back Superman to life to solve this problem for us.
Let's wait for Goku.
Yeah, it's literally just wait for Goku.
Christ, I just had a PTSD war flashback of episodes of waiting for Goku. Fuck.
Yeah. So, you know, having Superman be the guy that can do anything, but having other people who can do things better than him, that's still okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're having a team effort, you need something for other people to cover Superman.
Yeah.
This also means that Superman can time travel, by the way, if they are equally as fast.
I believe he has before.
Depends on the comic continuity.
Imagine getting the Speed Force and you're still slower than the alien who was just built different.
It's that yellow sun, man.
It's that good old yellow sun juice.
Anyway, we talked about Flash a lot.
Yeah.
More than it probably deserved, but, you know.
I thought that might happen. So, I also, in terms of watch stuff, I also have been watching the anime Mashal. I believe, Slicer, were you also watching that, Mashal?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so Mashal is, it is, magic and muscles, basically.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I saw 3 episodes of this.
Yeah. Yeah, so just take Saitama and Mob and combine them together and throw them into Hogwarts. And the entire show was built around the catharsis of hitting people who think they're way above you. It's very good.
It's very satisfying.
Also, I beat Live Alive, which came out last year, and it took me a long time to actually finish it.
I've heard good things about that game. How good was it?
It's a very, very good game. So it's basically composed of 8 different short stories, in a way, scattered throughout different eras of time, and they all play relatively differently. They still use the same combat system. For example, one barely has any combat at all, and it's a sci-fi horror.
Uh-huh.
Another one is a western where you are building traps in the town to prepare for a bunch of outlaws that are going to ride through the town and try to take it down.
Well, that's refreshing. I was expecting a whole bunch of shooting 'em up. Setting traps seems like a nice change of pace.
Yeah, so you have like a timer to go search the town, find things, and then go send the townsfolk to go set traps, and hopefully they complete them all in time.
Mm.
And then you have like another one where you are a ninja and you actually have a kill count, so you can attempt to go through and sneak into this castle without killing any enemies at all, aside from like necessary bosses. Or you can make it your mission to kill everyone, and it will change things.
And this is 3 out of 8. How
Yes.
interesting.
So each one has a very different like twist. Like another one, the modern day one is a fighting game, where you go and pick from a fighting game menu characters to fight, and then when you beat them, you get to take their moves.
Okay, I think I'll stop you there. I'm definitely going to have to get this game at some point.
Yeah, it's a very good game. This is a remake of a much older game. It's fantastic for for the stuff that it does for its time, and it has a very satisfying finale.
Excellent.
So highly recommend that. I've also started playing the new FF16, Final Fantasy 16, which is one of the few reasons to own a PS5 right now. It'll probably come to PC in like a year or so.
Yeah, they've said they're doing it. It's probably going to be on Epic Game Store because Square Enix are fucking assholes. Let's not get into Final Fantasy 16. We're at an hour and 25, and you've just started playing it, so maybe we get a fuller picture later.
Yeah, I just started playing. I like it so far.
Okay,
that's it.
Nailed it. Short, succinct. Well done.
Yep.
So you good?
Yeah. Sorry, I had a big week.
Month.
A big month.
We have to do the Patreon again this, by the way, because we haven't recorded all month.
Oh damn! I guess it has been a while. Shit.
Things happen. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Patient, how you doing?
Concerned for your well-being, bringing that up. Of course, I'm not going to press. Sorry?
Let's not get into that.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I thought so. Well, June's almost over, and with it, I'll be moving into the final month before my branch closes, and, well, I haven't been focusing on the job search as much as I should be, but at the same time, it's kind of an impediment to have your availability date be so far out. At the same time, my reasons for wanting to leave this job, every day that I'm there, there's just a few more whispers in my mind of this is a bad thing. You should get out of here as soon as possible. It's just a bunch of little things that are starting to pile up. And I'm just going to be more diligently seeking a job at a credit union in the next several weeks. And hopefully I'll have it post-haste.
Yeah, fully fair. Is it anything like concrete, or is it just a bunch of
It's just the
red
fact that
flags?
it's just the fact that the company is heading in the same sales crazy direction that I came to this company to get away from.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're closing anyway, so it's not really. There's no skin off your nose kind of thing.
Yeah, I know, just... It's partly I don't want to dump all the extra work on everyone else, and partly that I don't want to lose out on the almost $5,000 that they're paying me to work to the end of July.
Yeah, just run it out. You know.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. We'll see. Aside from the job situation, won't go into a lot, but I've been doing a lot of introspection, and I've gotten to one of the major roots of all of my mental issues, and in a nutshell, I've found out that I'm touch-starved, and that's just something that I'm struggling to find a fix for, so...
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that after the pandemic, I'm not the only one who's been dealing with this, but... No.
A lot of isolation happening, yeah.
And me just being used to isolating myself for the better part of the past 20 years. Aside from that, like I said, I've been playing through Breath of the Wild for the past couple of months. I completed the map, activated every single tower before I got to properly exploring, and filled up my stamina wheel, and then I am currently at 28 spirit orbs that I have yet to cash in for more hearts.
Yeah, you can accidentally have quite a few built up if you just do shrines back to back.
Well, it's not that I can't immediately teleport to anywhere that has a statue that I can just offer the stuff to. I just haven't bothered yet because I'd like to see how far I can go.
That's fair. I mean, I think I got up to like 18 before I mustered the effort to pull myself from shrines to go do that. The fact that you have to do it one at a time fucking sucks, though. There's no like cash in all.
It's a bit annoying, yeah. Of course, most sane people would be, oh, I've got 4. Let's go ahead and get that boost right away. And to be fair, that was pretty much what I was doing for the stamina wheel. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've conquered a lot of shrines. I have gotten to the point where stone taluses and hinoxes and stalnoxes are not intimidating at all.
Yeah, conquer them.
Still getting to the point where I can take on Lionels, though.
Well, that can take a while. Once you kill 1 or 2, it becomes way easier as you have Lionel weapons to fight them. But, yeah.
And I have killed 2, but they were the 2 at Hyrule Castle's gatehouse. The confined space makes things a lot easier.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm probably just going to keep exploring as much as I can, and then once I've completed as many quests as I can, I'm probably just going to ignore the 4 divine beasts and then head straight for the castle.
What? So you can get the extra hard boss fight?
Something like that. We'll see. But like I said, I've gotten pretty bored of exploring everywhere. I mean, there's still a lot to find. I haven't even found 100 of the Korok seeds yet. But yeah, following the plot is the most interesting thing that I can be doing at this point, so that's probably what I'm going to be doing by and large.
That makes sense.
And once this is finished, I have to get on to my other birthday present, which is to say my brother bought me Hades.
Oh, nice. Okay. I can see why you're not doing those at the same time. That is wildly different games with very different controls.
Yes. And lots of characters, too. Of course, I can't promise that both of those won't be eclipsed when Pikmin 4 comes out next month.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
I've been playing nothing but Diablo 4 for like a week and a half now.
Yeah. I'll buy Pikmin 4 when it comes out, and then I'll probably buy Pikmin 1 and 2 when they come out. No, I think I'll probably buy Pikmin 1 and 2 once I've got another job lined up. That seems like the sane thing to do. So, besides that, it's just been business as usual. Trying to put in the effort to take better care of myself, and lots of ongoing writing projects with helping others out. Trying to hit a deadline that's coming up in 3 days for a chapter that's not yet fully planned out. Largely planned out, mind you, just not completely. So we'll see how that goes. And lastly, another One Piece related realization. Are all of you up to date?
I am not.
It's my son going to be. It's fine.
Well, have you... How far back are you?
They were still in the Japan land.
It's pretty far back.
Yep.
Have...
I could take off my headphones, though, for a little bit.
Well, how many times has Luffy fought Kaido?
0. Oh, in Japan land, at least.
Yeah, it would be best for you not to hear this.
Okay, I'll take my headphones off. Ping me when I should put them back on.
Okay, sounds good.
Are you two aware of Luffy's powers?
Yeah.
I don't read One Piece, so I have no context for any of this, so you're good.
Well, give me just a moment. I came to a realization a little while back about Alabasta.
Okay.
I mean, we had things being planned for a while. Just it was set up from the moment that Doflamingo mentioned that the Nefertaris were one of the 20 founding families. But in the wake of Luffy's, in the wake of seeing Luffy's true power, I came to a realization concerning Alabasta's flag. It's a very simple design, isn't it?
It's a sun, yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just googled the flag. Yeah, it's just a sun with like Tomoe symbols around it.
As might be related to...
I know what you're getting at. I know he has a reputation. just because there are suns in places in the story does not mean everything is about this.
Maybe not, but
It's
I
a
came to another.
desert country.
I also came to this realization earlier. When I was listening to some church music this morning, there's a broadcast from my church of the choir singing every Sunday morning. And a lot of today's songs were in Spanish. That is the word for praise in Spanish. It's a bit close, isn't
That's
it?
not it. That is absolutely a reach. That Alabasta is one of two things. Alabasta, which Alabasta is white
I'm
material
aware, yes.
from the Middle East, and then Arabasta, as in Arab Asta, again Middle East. It's not that, my dude.
I mean, maybe it's a stretch.
Dude's got you
There's just-
chasing tails, kind of thing. Seems like.
But there is the consideration. Crocodile and Robin, both introduced in that country, called their attacks in Spanish.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, maybe it's a stretch. We'll see. Maybe it's just a coincidence. You never know. Alright, so that's pretty much it for my week, month.
I'll ping Zero.
I got it.
Okay.
Sisa, how you doing?
A lot of Diablo 4, as I said. I've so far made one of every character now, which is not saying a lot. There's only 5 characters. They don't have a paladin. Hate it. That's how I started playing the goddamn game, was I played a paladin in Diablo 2. Oh well. So it's been fun. A lot of the issues don't really come in until around level 35 to 40 is when they start, and they don't really hit you until like 50, which is about when you end the campaign. That's about when you finish in a game where you can level up to 100. Everything after that is just post-game content, which they're actively working very, very fast on. So, like, loot tables are broken. There's some builds that are just, you win forever. They decided to make, so it's called Thorns when an enemy hits you and they take damage. So, like, some of their damage is reflected back. You can enhance that number with Thorns. There's a Barbarian build that makes it so your Thorns value runs off your strength, and then you just pump the shit out of your strength. So the second an enemy hits you, they just die. And you have enough damage reduction that you can just tank everything. So that's the current leading build right now, is walk through enemies who die around you. Which is fun. It's very nice. But yeah, it's not super great for like balancing purposes. Yeah. So
Kill them
been
all.
having a lot of fun with that. Let's see. I tried out a few different anime. Nothing I really stuck with for very long. Not out of a lack of interest, just wanted to use my free time to play Diablo. So
There's some good stuff coming out in the future, I think. But, you know, I know we're getting to the end of the current season, so all the new stuff's going to be coming up start of July.
Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen, yay!
my friends will probably get together and do another like anime watching marathon where we just watch the first episode of every series that looks interesting and isn't season 2 of something.
I'll recommend Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, basically.
I read the manga for that. That was good.
Yeah, I read the manga for that. That is a fun one where a guy is working at a black company, and then the zombie apocalypse happens, and he celebrates.
Because it's so much better.
He doesn't have to go to work in the morning. It's great.
All of his coworkers are dead. All of his bosses are dead. It's great. Live it up and do whatever I want. Yeah. I'm curious how long it's going to be until they actually introduce the plot, because like there is a long overarching plot eventually, but it might not be until near like the end of season 1.
But the most important thing is that July 5th, the first episode of Reincarnated as a Vending Machine. Let's go! We're finally here. Been talking about for years.
I can't believe it. It's really happening.
It's really happening.
That's amazing. On sort of anime related news, I finally played Warhammer for the first time. Like actual Warhammer, not Kill Team. That was interesting. It's so much more, it's so much longer. It's so much more complicated. There's so many more numbers. I have to measure things. Well, okay, no, in Kill Team you actually have to measure, and it's very specific. But so that I was familiar with. But yeah, yeah, that was interesting. Played 2 games of, or no, 1 game of 500-point armies each. 2 people on each team for 4 people. So that took us like 7 hours with just a small handful of models each. And then we played a second game that lasted about 4 hours, which was 1,000-point each for a total of 4,000 on the table. And somehow that went faster. I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much the extent of my week.
Yeah, I have no idea about anything Warhammer, so that went straight over my head. Every single bit of it.
That's fair.
I know that you paint things red to make them faster.
That is orcs. They're great.
That's the only stuff I know about Warhammer is that the orcs are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm a tank.
Yeah, they're the only subconscious psychers in that world. So they have a very strong belief in things. If they believe it hard enough, it works. If you paint it purple, it's stealthy. You can't see me because I'm purple.
It works for and against them, which is the best part of it.
Yeah. There's a human that they've who lost his arm and grafted an orc arm onto his, like a mechanized one, not like an actual green orc arm. I forget his name, Yarrick, I think it is. And he's incredibly powerful because the orcs have like started to, they don't really fear things. They just respect him. And that's empowered him enough to be like an actual threat. It's great. So yeah, I might. A coworker of mine has a 3D printer, and he's like, "Hey, if you want to get some models, I can just, if you give me the files, I can just print them for you for super cheap." So I might have a sizable army here pretty soon, instead of just the random guardsmen I've cobbled together over the last couple months.
Yeah.
Because what's another hobby?
3D printers probably. Like, Games Workshop probably aren't big fans of those.
Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't take it to a tournament or anything.
Oh, yeah, no. But I mean, just the company is just like, fuck.
They deserve it. I would absolutely pay for their models if they weren't... Like, okay, a model is worth a certain number of points, and that's how you make an army. You get a 500, 1,000, 2,000 point, whatever. People math out what the point per dollar cost is for models, and sometimes it's 1-to-1. Like there's a unit of Necrons, which are like essentially Terminators, called the Flayed Ones, who are melee focused Necrons, which is unique. And yeah, it's 1-to-1. If you want to buy 50 points worth of Flayed Ones, you better spend $50 or more. if they didn't charge out the ass for their models, I would be more than happy to pay for, official stuff. But no, I'm good.
Mm. So that's it.
Anyone else have anything, or are we going for Patreon stuff?
Street Fighter's pretty good.
I was about to ask, how you doing, Casey?
Yeah, oh yeah, I was going to ask about that. I saw you guys were doing a lot of Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's a good game. I have fun with it.
I saw the Jimquisition thing. I didn't realize they had like easy combo stuff.
Yeah, they added a modern control scheme that lets you... Basically, it removes the twiddly stick bullshit for doing specials and supers.
Okay, I'll play it.
And you can hold down the right trigger and press one of the 3 attack buttons that the modern control system has, and it will run through a combo. Like a predetermined combo, so you don't have to know your light, medium, and heavy punches and kicks like you used to in... Well, like you still do in classic controls, to get a decent combo in that will be able to run through a few hits.
The lack of twiddly sticks is enough to make me want to play it.
Yeah. It is very nice. Like, I saw the command input for one of Cammy's supers, and it was enough to make me wonder whether I would ever even try to do classic controls.
Legit, the pretzel motions I absolutely despise. That's why I never played or really got into Street Fighter. So hearing that they simplified that, super on board.
Yeah, like... It's going to sound really stupid, especially to people that, actually played Street Fighter when, this was the only option. But the worst one I've seen is a Z motion move, which is usually an uppercut, which is forward, then down forward. So you have to go, say facing right, you have to go right, then for a controller you probably have to go back to neutral, then down forward, and then attack.
Yeah, a lot of these combinations just don't feel feasible on a controller, and that
it's let's say it's less than ideal for most players. Let alone people that have not grown up with playing this style of game.
Yeah, it was at the point where you needed a fighting stick to actually play with any amount of competency, because trying to do it on controller and at the speed that the game was wanting you to do that sort of motion, so you could pull off your one move, and then you have to do like 5 of those moves in succession. It just wasn't feasible.
Like, there are ways to... Like, that is the worst possible idea for how to do, like, a command input for one of those moves. Like, it's just the most awkward you could have made it. I don't know how you would make it more awkward than that particular movement. Like, you can, like, quarter circle forward, that's easy as hell. Anyone can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter circle back, or back forward, or up down. Mortal Kombat does that. That's your fucking teleport move. That sort of stuff works, and it's perfectly fine. And if that was how the control inputs were for Street Fighter, sure, why not? I could probably do that.
Yeah, I can do quarter circles. I can do like double tapping a direction.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff's fine.
Yeah, just doing the zany shit though, it's just like, no, fuck off. That's I'm sure the people that learn to do it think it's fine, but it's just awkward in general. There are better ways to do things, and that's one of the main reasons I would imagine is why they call it modern controls, because it's a bit of kludge from way back in the day that people probably don't want to deal with anymore in modern gaming.
I often hear about like the desire to get more people into fighting games, and you want to get more people into fighting games. Modern controls like this sounds like a really great way to make it accessible.
Yeah. And I mean, you get people that complain about it, obviously, because people complain about fucking anything, especially things that, you know, prevent players from getting good and such. Like,
Anything that is not exactly the same as it was before.
yeah.
But it also needs to be different, but also exactly the same.
Mm.
But yeah, no, like I don't know if you guys have seen Jim Sterling's video on it, but
I have not.
but yeah, it's good stuff. Actually, do they still go by Jim Sterling, or is it just Sterling?
The channel
Um,
is
the
Jim
the show
Sterling.
is still Jim Sterling, Jimquisition. I think their name is Stephanie now.
Gotcha.
think.
The commander, whatever. Their video was very good on it. Kind of nailed it. Like I've completely written off fighting games because I just cannot
Yeah.
do that with my hands, or if I can, the game drops my inputs and it just sucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually excited and interested in a fighting game. I don't know if I'll get it, but like, because I have so many other things to play. But if I didn't, I'm the most interested I've been in fighting games ever.
Yeah. You've already sold me in Slicer on it.
Yeah. It is really fun. I have been enjoying playing Cammy. I have been learning how the psychology and tactics of this particular fighting game works, and that is fun. There are certain opponents that consistently make me feel like a putz, but that is my lack of knowledge and not any like failure of the game design. So I've just been having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, it's good. It's a good
Great.
time.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
Anything else you've been doing this week? Or month? Month, I guess.
I mean, if people are willing to hear me bitch about My Hero Academia and how much it sucks now,
Oh dear.
Go for it. I haven't actually caught up, so I'm very curious what you think.
You know, for how much people say that Horikoshi really, really wants to end the story and just get on with it, he's very unwilling to just let plot lines go.
It's actually dragging on now, which is so weird because it's like he heard, oh man, people weren't liking that you were rushing it, so let's slow everything down.
They've beat Darby like 4 fucking times. Like, no, for real, guys, he's super dead this time. He's literally a fucking skull. Oh no, wait, he's back up.
It is, I feel like everything to do with Dobby and the good old Fire family, it had a peak a while back, and now it's taken up too much of the story.
Mm.
I mean, that already it's pretty much over right now, but like it took up too much of the story.
Icy Heart should have just had the win and that be the end of it, and Darby dies in fucking hospital or something. Let that just be the fucking end of it. Like, why drag this out? Like, no one really needed the family reunion thing to happen. That's not interesting. That didn't add anything that hadn't already been said.
It didn't add anything, and it also like this family is not the main focus of this manga to begin with, but it's given that treatment.
Mm. And then there's Toga.
Toga Himiko, I don't know what your thing is. Why are you? What is your character?
See, I was gonna talk like I had an answer. And then, like, for what it's worth, I feel like by necessity, because I write 2 fucking stories on My Hero Academia, so I kind of have to know all the shit. I do feel like I've got a grasp on her character, but her character sucks so much and is so inconsistent. Like, she's a crazy person, so that kind of makes sense. You know, that's crazy people are inconsistent. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so reductive.
I mean, it is. Yes,
It is.
it's the shortcut of a crazy character. You know, I don't have to write them consistent. They're crazy.
So, I'd
What it's the sort of thing where that time skip and that rush that happened could have it came at a steep cost, and a lot of that cost was setting things up appropriately. Whereas now it feels like some things are dragged on too long and some things are rushed out too fast.
I can say, like, the Toga thing is awful. It is awful on every possible metric. It is a character that has just been dragged across spikes until her body has been shredded. Like, she's barely even a character anymore, and they're still treating her like she is one, and that's, I'm gonna say, misguided. But I will say, the one thing that they really did pay off pretty damn well was the mutation quirk thing. With the attack on the hospital. That was done really, really well.
Yes.
Like,
that was handled very well.
I will give all the credit in the world for how they handled that, because that's a touchy subject that it's doing a little bit of allegory on, and it's doing it pretty well.
What was the specific? I don't know what that situation was. I've forgotten.
Mutation people with mutation quirks, so they have different features of just like animal features most commonly, so they don't look human. They get discriminated against, and they all rise up, and Spinner, the lizard dude from the League of Villains, is their grand leader. He is the one that will deliver them to their promised revolution against those who oppress them. And he has been turned into a literal fucking puppet who can't think for himself and just gets prompted to say all these horrible things of just like slaughter all the people that oppressed us and things like that. And that is that's a statement, I'm gonna say, that has been made there with that, of someone who has been hurt by this kind of thing but is propped up by people who don't actually care about the cause but want to weaponize it for their own interests. that's certainly a statement. Not an entirely erroneous statement, but, it could very easily have been done in a way that is less than helpful. Let's say that. I'm dancing around some very dangerous territory here, so,
I
There are
get it.
there are definitely those who have portrayed it as less than helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that side of it was done very well, and then you have what's his name? Shoji?
Mr. Octopus Man, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reveal that he also had a mutation quirk, obviously, and there is a good reason he wears a mask.
Yeah.
That reveal was, I'm gonna say, chilling. That was actually really that was a good gut punch of a reveal right there. So I want to give all the credit in the world for how they handled that whole sequence. I don't think it was perfect, but I don't know if you can even ask for perfect when dealing with this kind of touchy subject. It had some things to say, and I think it said them fairly well. Which is pretty high fucking praise. I mean, this is still from a Japanese series, and their track record for this subject is not very good. It's really not. They have a really bad track record with this kind of thing. So the fact that it handled things as well as it did is pretty impressive. I just wish everything else was up to that standard. And it's just kind of not.
I think it's interesting though that the stuff that uses some of the lesser developed characters more is the stuff that it's the stuff that we're more interested in. It's the stuff that's better executed. Whereas the stuff with characters that we've seen, so much.
We've seen a lot of the Todoroki family to the point where they are. Todoroki is basically the third protagonist kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was a point where that story ended, and it was several endings before that it actually ended. And that's the unfortunate part of that. That could have been done worse. It could have been done better, but it could have been done worse. But Toga is just awful on every conceivable angle. It's just bad.
The amount of I feel like if you just had even a small mini arc to iron some things out with that, focused on that character specifically, it would have done a lot for Toga. But we didn't get that.
Yeah. And now she's just kind of dragging other characters down with her at this point, unfortunately.
Literally could have just been oh, maybe they capture Toga at some point, and then you have the prisoner discussion with with one of the heroes, and it's Ochiko or something,
Yeah.
And they have a conversation.
Ochiko tries to actually reach her. That's not in the middle of a fight where they decide to discuss love. Fuck off. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
The best
That
thing
was very
about
dumb.
the best thing about Ochiko's character was that she didn't obsess about love like every it's unfortunate to call it this, but female third wheel character that you get in every single one of these shonen stories. Like, she wasn't all about love. She very deliberately put her feelings away at one point to focus on the really important shit that was happening. And that was just a great moment that made me appreciate her more. And now here we are, back to talking about love. Fuck off. Like, it's frustrating.
I mean, I get that Toga would be obsessed with that, especially if she's becoming increasingly unhinged.
The conversation itself has not fully gone into full swing. At the very least, it seems like the love discussion seems to be more focused on Toga and her feelings towards it, given that there is somewhat of a connection between that and her power.
It's not great either, but
Yeah. No, it's not great.
Just it makes me sad. Because I just look back on that fucking stupid ass video we did in 2015 of what was it, Grunkle Funkle Casey's manga extravaganza or some shit where we read a bunch of first chapters. Like that's how we got into fucking My Hero Academia, was reading that first chapter as that stupid thing, and I fell in love with it immediately.
Yeah,
because
I remember.
I had a very personal connection to that first chapter because I could very much relate to a lot of it. And now here we are, and it just makes me sad.
Yeah. Like, I've been following this series since the first chapter, and I'm gonna see it through to the end at the very least.
I mean, we're in full sunk cost fallacy at this point, so yeah.
It's sunk cost fallacy, I understand, but I want to see where it ends. Probably not going to be anything unpredictable, but I want to see where it ends.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, to our patrons.
Yeah. Let's end this on a high note. Fucking.
For supporting us.
Also, my girl Jiro got done dirty. Just gonna say that. That's not cool. Don't appreciate that.
Well, thank you to everybody who's been supporting us this last month. Thank you to Ryu-Hitsia21. Thank you to Sailor of House Thunderbird, Vale, Greek Guy, Ethan F, Crossbrain, and Troper37. Yay!
Thanks,
you funded my bitching about manga that I like.
I mean, from what I've seen of them over the years, I'm pretty sure they're into that. So they knew what they were in for.
If you want to see more bitching, please come to the Discord, and we have a channel for it where we talk about My Hero Academia every week.
Yeah. Also, one for One Piece if you want, a channel of about a good story. It's really fucking mean, and I know it is, but goddamn, the highs we started at and what we descended down to is fucking just tragic.
I'll catch up on One Piece one day when it ends.
It's close. Well, it's only a few years away.
Because I was current at one point, and I'm not very good at the chapter, the week by week thing for One Piece.
Oh yeah, no, it sucks.
So I'm just I'm a little build.
So you're just going to read it soon, the way that the word soon is defined in, say, the Bible, where it could be about 100 years.
Yeah, anywhere between now and the heat death of the universe.
It's
Soon.
Hold on, I have an emote for it. Soon trademark.
You don't need a.
There you go.
You
Perfect.
don't need an emote for that. Like, hang on.
I don't need it, but one of the servers I'm in has it, so I get to benefit from it.
I mean, that's fair.
Or that as well. Yes, I'll catch up on One Piece when it's further ahead.
0153 is the alt code for TM, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's happy days. How's Bleach doing, by the way?
I've not been watching the new anime that they've been releasing.
Oh, I'll watch it when it's finished, maybe.
Yeah,
soon.
I remember reading that week to week on a show that we did, and I'm very interested to see if I will feel differently watching it like in a binge.
Maybe. In the meantime, there's always Boruto.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, the one that features Boruto's dad is also in that. I heard really good things about Boruto's dad.
Oh god. I have heard things about how that story goes. It goes to some stupid places.
I actually have not heard things that it seemed like it would though.
Would you like to hear things?
Sure, go ahead.
Kurama's dead.
What?
Yep.
So there are aliens. We got stupid fucking rabbit goddess mom. She was an alien. There are other aliens. They are immune to chakra.
How does that make? Why? How?
Because reasons.
But
The answer is shut up.
But the rabbit mom wasn't immune.
Reasons. So, as a result of this, when one of these aliens attacks, Naruto does a thing that converts Kurama's chakra into basically a nuke.
So what you're telling me is an alien invasion happens. Naruto decides to go full Judgment Day and launch a nuke at the aliens. And that nuke is Kurama, and Kurama dies in a nuclear explosion against aliens.
Yeah. Kurama is made of chakra, so it literally died for the sake of creating this technique that... Yeah.
Kurama agreed to that?
Presumably. So, yeah, that's a thing that happened. They're basically tossing out the entire framework of powers for the setting, more or less, because it's all fucking useless.
I'm just kind of in shock at how stupid that is.
It is very stupid.
You said stupid. I wasn't expecting that level of...
Choices were made.
I'm pretty sure when people were asking for more Naruto, they wanted to see more of the world as it was, and different techniques and different things. I'm pretty sure that nobody asked for aliens immune to chakra. Now learn different techniques all over again from scratch.
Yeah.
that are not chakra, but are probably some new energy source or something.
Nature energy. So sage mode and all that shit.
Ugh.
Which Naruto has, so you would think he would just use, but, whatever. Well, I guess that whole thing was turning nature energy into nature chakra, so that doesn't really work, I guess.
Did the writer change? I
Yes.
mean, is there a different writer for this?
Yes.
Okay, that explains everything. Literally everything.
Yep.
But it's supposed to be about ninjas.
Let's be honest here. Late stage Naruto was barely about ninjas.
But this was your chance.
Yeah, it's
You should bring
fucking
it back.
late stage Naruto is about ninjas as much as late stage Dragon Ball Z is about martial arts.
But this is your chance. You had new things. You could have just made them ninjas again. You had a chance here.
There was a chance. You could have started over from zero, but nope.
Oddly enough, impressively, late stage One Piece is still about pirates.
Yeah, I mean that it kind of resets the status quo on every new location they go to.
That's
So-
how it should be.
And we're still heading for the end goal, which is X marks the spot.
Yep.
I'll say one
Still
thing.
waiting on that character with an eye patch.
At least the final arc of Bleach is like, oh, hey, here's the Quincy's again. At least it's something that's already part of the freaking setting. I mean, you can argue about how it is executed, but like at least it's not like, oh, well, here's this entirely group of aliens that are.
I thought the execution was the previous arc.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was also kind of an established thing because, Orihime and Chad.
Yeah.
Mhm. It was like the thing is they always still pulled from stuff that was reasonably set up in terms of things that could exist.
Yeah,
They
it didn't just
ran
dump in
on it.
Burn the Witch, let's say. Like, we didn't just suddenly get dragons in Karakura Town.
That would be kind of awesome, though.
A little bit, but, it's a risky
I would
play,
welcome an
let's call it
isekai invasion. That's fine.
that. It's technically the
Isekai
same
and-
setting, so, arguably we did actually just get that, but it didn't keep the same setting. Well, it didn't keep the same location in the setting, rather.
Yeah. Huh. Well. Hey, I saw that Dragon Ball Super movie. That was pretty good. Superhero, where it's all about Gohan and Piccolo. Great father-son movie. At least there's that.
Orange flavored Piccolo,
Yeah.
as opposed to lime.
It was nice to see a movie where the main character wasn't Goku. The main character was Piccolo.
Yeah. I'm pretty glad that Dragon Ball is still a thing that exists and is actually quite good.
It has its ups and downs with Super, but like there's Superhero is definitely one of those ups.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the Tournament of Power. That was fun.
They brought back Android 17. He was the best. Love that guy.
He finally did the thing that everyone clowns on the entire series, which is someone's doing a big cool transformation and you just fucking shoot him in the middle of it.
And
And
they're like, "Wait, you're
everyone's just like,
supposed to wait."
"Why did you do that? They were gonna do well. They were just standing there. I just no. That's not okay. That's not a thing we do. Sorry, that's my bad."
I don't know if it's better that he actually did it or that they lampshaded the whole thing.
They had to at that point.
Yeah.
And there was actually like going off like in terms of like Dragon Ball stuff. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying current Dragon Ball Super and everything going on in there. That's
The manga?
nice. The manga and also Superhero, which is also now being incorporated into the manga, so that will be canon basically going forward. They also canonized Broly in the manga.
Yeah, I haven't read the manga. I'm basically the way I kind of see it. It's the anime is almost like a second draft of the manga, a little bit. It seems like.
Yeah, they well, there's some things that are actually more expanded upon in the manga that are somewhat cut from the anime, but for the most part, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, no. They have like 2 full arcs if they want to come back with the anime regularly again.
Yeah.
Currently,
Is Moro and something else.
Moro, and then the whole like granola arc.
God damn it, Toriyama.
His name's Granola, and he lives
Son of
on
a
planet
bitch.
Cereal.
Oh. Okay, Mr. Toriyama, what's this new character that you got for us? Looks at his cat. It's a cat. Oh, okay. What's he about? He likes food. Great. Another
I'm
winner,
sorry.
Mr. Toriyama.
Yeah, no, it was
Can't really argue with results, though.
it was. I actually liked that arc because the whole premise was it was somebody who had their planet destroyed by. They were somebody who basically had everything they loved to take and destroyed by the Saiyans under Frieza, way back when.
It's, again, second draft of Baby. That's what that is.
And they really wanted to kill Frieza, and were ended up fighting Goku and Vegeta along the way because reasons.
I mean, considering Goku and Vegeta are the reason that Frieza is still alive, or alive again, rather, do you thank him for that, or do you get angry at him for that? Like, that's... Like, on the one hand, Frieza's alive again. Damn it. On the other hand, Frieza's alive again, so I can kill him. Like,
I missed my opportunity at killing Frieza, but now Frieza's alive again, so I can kill Frieza.
yeah.
Is actually something that happens in the manga. It's like, yeah, okay, I gotta kill Frieza now. But
For how this started with bitching about a fucking shonen manga, I fucking love shonen manga. It's so stupid and great.
yeah.
I love it.
I
It
still
is.
love shonen.
It's
And-
good when it's done well. I mean, that goes for everything.
I am so happily looking forward to Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. It's gonna be great.
I think I'll start Jujutsu Kaisen following that. Because I just keep hearing good things.
It's very good.
And I am aching for a new shonen. All right. That's a podcast.
Jennifer Lawrence is a pivotal figure in the Jujutsu Kaisen mythos.
What? What?
Are you wanting to make this stretch out to a 3-hour show, Casey?
We used to be 3 hours. we used to when we were young and full of life and light and hope.
And more writing topics to talk about before we ran out of them.
Anyway, so that's a podcast. I hope you enjoyed the coming back from accidental hiatus with a 2.5-hour podcast. That's some good shit. We did the outro at about the 2-hour mark. Bye, everybody.
Wow. Hey, sweet.
Bye.
See you guys.
So long.
Rabbits.